Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be giving you a speech, my tribute speech to one of the greatest boxers of all time, Muhammad Ali. When I first thought of someone that came to mind that I wanted to pay tribute and respect to, he was one of the first people I thought of. So Muhammad Ali was actually not born with the name Muhammad Ali. His father named him Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. after his father. He named him after this 19th century Republican that he really honored and held highly. He and his family grew up in Kentucky. They grew up there almost their entire lives. But this was kind of a very segregated and kind of nasty neighborhood. And this is kind of when Muhammad started to learn kind of what boxing and life was kind of about. So he first heard of boxing when he got into this fight with this kid who stole his bike. And this police officer came up to him and said, "Kid, you're going to keep getting your butt kicked unless you learn how to box." And this is the first time that it popped in his mind about boxing. After this, he started to watch TV and learn about the sport of boxing. And this is when he first started to pursue it, and it was pretty big for him. His first fight was in 1954, and this was his first fight, and he ended up winning it into a split decision. This was the start of something great. Everyone knew that he had the potential to be a great boxer. He had the strong build, height, power, everything that you'd want in a boxer. His first fight was a challenge, though. He was coming into the heavyweight battle against the reigning champion, and he was a 7-1 underdog, which is unbelievable for being such a big competition. This fight ended up going very short, and Muhammad Ali, Clay at the time, won by heavily. He was the youngest ever at 22 to win the heavyweight title of a reigning champion. This is one of his most famous fights of all time. Many people think Muhammad Ali is just famous for his boxing. That's not true. Many may not know that he was actually banned from the sport of boxing for 5 years and sentenced to prison. Back in the day, there was a draft, and if you evaded the draft, you had to have a punishment of 5 years in jail and a $10,000 fine. Muhammad Ali didn't want to go to the draft due to his beliefs in religion and decided to evade the draft and have the consequences. He was sentenced to jail, fined, and above all else, he was stripped of his titles and his feats. 3 years later, the ban was lifted after legal troubles and everything and many support. He started to continue his boxing career, and this was the start of something amazing. He fought for many years after his punishment, and he had famous fights against people such as George Foreman, Frazier, and other many fights. These are some of the most iconic memories of his fighting career. He continued to win the heavyweight battle year after year. He continued year after year. He continued to fight for almost 20 plus years, but after so long, he finally called it quits and fought his last battle December 11th, 1981, in a 10-round brutal loss. Boxing was not all Ali loved. He loved to travel and explore the world, and after boxing, he pursued his lifelong hobby of traveling. He decided to travel especially to Africa. He did lots of philanthropy work here, and he loved to find people of his race and help them. He also started to figure more about his beliefs in religion Islam, and continued to further develop that. Ali is one of the greatest boxers of all time, and he could dodge punches left and right, but he couldn't dodge them all. Boxing is one of the most brutal sports of all time, and it takes a toll on your body, especially after 25 years. 10 to 20 years after his boxing career, people started to notice he had lost feelings in his hands, his shoulders, and other parts of his body, and he started to become weak. He soon needed people to help him do simple tasks such as walking, going to the bathroom, and other types of things. His health became very bad in the last month of August, and his time came and he passed away June 3rd at the age of 74. His friends and family were at his side when he passed away. This was almost 2 months ago. Muhammad Ali's legacy is more than just boxing. He's known for his knockout punches, famous fights, and tremendous trash talk. But this was a man that was more than life itself. This was a man who was faced with adversity, turned the corner, and stood up for what he believed in. He made such an impact on the world with his heartfelt smile and outgoing personality. He did such good for the world, like traveling to Iraq and helping negotiate hostages back to the U.S. Then helping actors fight the disease Parkinson's to help patients and get money and research for it. No street name, no stadium, no statue could ever measure to his greatness. Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee was his famous line, and that's just what he did. I give this tribute speech to one of the greatest boxers of all time, but also to a man who never gave up, never gave in, and always fought for what he believed in. Rest in peace, Muhammad Ali. Thank you.